I keep thinking about the story of Billie Jean, for one of the greatest artists known to humans, the king of pop, to deny your existence in a song, and unfortunately it got to be a chart-topping song. That must be depressing. But maybe it's a work of fiction. Michael Jackson is on the road today, who plays Speechless, now Billie Jean. Welcome back. It's still Hard Facts and 92.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Sam Chinedu, and as always, we have conversations that matter. The focus for this hour is on judicial independence. Apparently, some actions were taken that is kind of suggestive. It raises questions about the neutrality of the judiciary. Well, the National Judicial Institute has dismissed circulating reports alleging that judges sang the political chorus "On Your Mandate We Shall Stand" for President Bola Tinubu during the opening ceremony of the 2025 All Nigeria Judges Conference in Abuja. In a statement on Wednesday, the NJI described the claim as false, unfounded, and a misrepresentation of the ceremony, which was inaugurated by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The NJI's head of Information, Media, and Public Relations, Kolade Umoru, said no judge engaged in any political chant at the event. He noted that the only song rendered collectively by participants was the national anthem, performed at both the beginning and end of the ceremony. According to the Institute, the brief rendition of the "On Your Mandate" tune came solely from the Guards Brigade Band as part of its military ceremonial protocol while ushering the president to the podium. If you don't know what we're talking about, this is what it is.
My lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to deliver his opening address and officially declare open the 2025 All Nigeria Judges Conference. I thank you all for your kind attention.
Honorable Justice Olatokunbo Kekereekun, the Chief Justice of Nigeria and the Chairman of Nigeria Judicial Council.
All right. So that was not a political event. No, it was not. That was the 2025 edition of the All Nigeria Judges Conference that held in Abuja. The president was invited. And when he was called to make his opening speech, that is how they welcomed him. They played the political song, I think that's what it's called at this point, at the judges' conference. As you can already imagine, it stirred reactions, a lot of those reactions in the negative. Why is this played at a conference of another arm of government that is supposed to be independent? Now, some people accuse some of the judges of singing along. The video I saw, of course, it only captured one angle. And from that angle, it didn't seem like a lot of people there were singing along. But some people insist that judges did sing along, and that suggests that the judiciary might not be neutral. But regardless of allegiance and whether or not they decided to join in the melody, the question is, why was this even played at such an event? Well, there's a lot to unpack here. What is the All Nigeria Judges Conference and how significant is it? Why does the president's political song, why was it played at the conference, and why does that raise concern? But how does this translate to the independence of the judiciary? When I have controversies and confusions, legally speaking, I run to one man, Chief Festus Oguche, a legal expert and consultant. Chief Dr. Festus Oguche.
Exactly. You got it. Thank you very much for inviting me.
How was it, How are you doing, Chief?
I'm all right. Very okay. I like your introduction. It captures it all.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm going to like the answer that you have to give to the questions.
Well, I hope I'll meet your standard.
Okay. So let's start with the basic. What is the All Nigerian Judges Conference? How frequently does it hold? And what's the significance of it?
Yes, it has massive significance because it's a conference that brings judges together. It's an opportunity for them to look at the law, the developments in the law,
Okay.
the advancements in the jurisprudence of law, the philosophy of law, all that, and to share, their experiences and compare notes in their work as judges and justices of the courts.
Okay.
It's a very good program that allows for a ventilation for judges to prove their mettle and to show, certain, if they have certain maybe reservations about the conduct of the judiciary, they can air them.
Okay.
Books, brand new books can be looked at. Those in the citadels of learning, the academia, will showcase what they have there. It's a workshop, actually. So it's a very beautiful thing that advances the cause of judicial advancement, particularly in areas where we have these incessant cases of conflicting decisions, conflicting orders. That's a proper forum to address them. And in cases where you have a very knotty issue like the electoral system, the judges may not have to wait for the amendment of the Electoral Act before they go into bringing in rules and regulations, practice directions, whatever you call it, that could make the electoral system to be free, fair, and credible enough, at least to ward off the persons that come to destroy the electoral landscape. So it's a very good area. In the absence of judicial reforms, a workshop of that nature can make a lot of corrections to put judges on guard on certain very critical issues of judicial exercise in terms of the kind of justice to be delivered, how to lower the level of travesty, and how to advance the cause of public trust, ensure that they have that public trust and confidence. And in situations like we have in Nigeria, where the public level of confidence is very, very low, it will provide a very good pedestal for the members of the body to put their heads together to see how they can work out certain directives and solutions to ensure that they build up the public confidence that is beginning to lower to the lowest ebb.
Now, how frequently does this conference hold?
It's an annual thing, but I think I'm not sure about the regularity, but I think it's supposed to be annual.
Okay.
But I'm just suggesting that I have to go be sure of it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very annual thing towards the end of the year, where they meet and jaw and speak the law.
And does it always hold in Abuja, or like the MBA conference? Is the location usually
from place to place?
Rotational?
I'm not sure of that also, but I know that usually holds at the Nigerian Judicial Institute. Where is it situated? I think it's in Abuja.
Yeah.
It's something that came with a collaborative, this recent one, collaborative effort of the Nigerian Judicial Institute and the cyber group. What's the name of that? The national.
The NJC?
Not NJC. NJC must be involved, of course,
definitely.
but there's also the one that has to do with can we move on, please?
Yes, indeed.
I'll get back to it. Yes.
Okay. Now, must the president be in attendance?
He's the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and it's purely a judicial thing. But because of the collaboration that comes usually in democratic cultures, the fusion of powers, the fact that they are not wholly, legislative or executive or judicial in their own right, the president must necessarily attend, at least to give the opening address, to talk to the judges, so that it will be seen as though there's that sense of belonging between all arms of government.
Yeah.
It's usually the pattern, and usually they are invited to attend to prepare the minds of the judges as to what to come. But then what will be expected is that a lot of commendations will be made by the president, and you encourage them and maybe direct them on necessary things or necessary steps to take in certain areas. But when it comes to something that has to do with shaming the judiciary, I think the president has channels, constitutional channel, that he can recourse to the National Judicial Council, the National Judicial Institute, where he can say all that and not necessarily come in the full glare of the public to begin to admonish them.
Okay. Now, you realize that the questions I'm asking, I'm trying to, lay the background to
Yes,
understand
I do. I do.
how all the things that were on ground got there, if that's the norm or this is an anomaly. Now, is this conference for, even though the title already kind of answers this question, but I'll ask nonetheless, all Nigeria judges, or is it judges of higher courts, lower courts? Are there particular kinds of judges that have to be in attendance, or is it anyone who is a judge in Nigeria?
I think it should be for anyone who is a judge. But in most cases, what they do in particular jurisdictions, they select the list of judges,
Okay.
maybe for lack of space or lack of finance or whatever. So, number of judges to represent the rest of the judges to attend. But in the normal climes, I think it should be the participation. It calls for the participation of all the judges. It's just akin to a judges' conference where participation is very key to understanding the core ingredients and elements of such discourse, or the discourse that's done there, and for the judges to have the free air to participate and be part of the entire scheme of workshop. They learn from it. The workshop will also learn from the judges.
All right, we'll talk about the political song after the break. But just before that break, what recorded changes have this conference caused in the judiciary? Because this is supposed to be a reform of sorts.
It's supposed to be a reform, and we are still awaiting the communique to be issued from that conference so that we can now do an analysis, and expected that one of the core issues for deliberation should be on electoral reforms, because the bulk of electoral malfeasance comes from the judiciary.
Yeah.
That people are beginning to think that the judiciary is the one that determines who gets into what position or who gets where, not necessarily the ballots of the people. But one issue that rises up very, very critically is that the fact that the president had taken the opportunity to admonish them not to sell judgments. I'm hearing that for the first time. I think some of us activists who have been very critical about judicial indiscretion, we've always avoided that word. Sale of judgments was something that we heard in the in English premedial English settings, where that became the norm, and the king had to come with decrees to stop it, and a lot of judges had their heads ruled. But here we have the president telling them about sale of judgments. I don't think that is what is obtaining here.
All right. My question was actually about the previous conferences that have been held. Of course, this one was still waiting for the outcome and all of that. Has there been any recorded reform that came because judges in Nigeria at some point met, and thanks to that meeting, there was a reshaping of judiciary in some way, shape, or form?
Yes, there's been a series of reforms that come with these workshops. Many of them, like the application of practice directions, the speedy dispensation of cases,
Okay.
the curtailing, the curtailment of issuance of ex parte orders. All these things are part of those things that have come out from that from the conferences and workshops. So it's very enabling and very rewarding, for not just for the judges, but for litigants and for the members of the public.
All right.
To ensure that the justice table is kept sailing and valid.
We'll take a break now. When we return, we talk about this mandate that everyone needs to stand on. Stay with us.
to Hard Facts.
This is Hard Facts.
My lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency, the President and Commander
And now, Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. It is Hard Facts, 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Chinedu here. Well, what you just heard is the source of many controversies. Nigerians did not find that funny. Well, the NJI dismissed reports circulating alleging that judges sang the political chorus "On your mandate we shall stand." In a statement on Wednesday, the NGI described the claim as false, unfounded, and a misrepresentation of the ceremony, which was inaugurated by the president. Well, I have Chief Dr. Festus Oguche, legal expert and consultant, right here with me as we talk about the questions plaguing the judiciary as to its neutrality. You're welcome once again, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, are Nigerians, those who have reacted, are they overreacting? Is this just an unnecessary stretch of what they think they saw, or should this be unsettling?
There are lots of reacting. They are reacting appropriately because a political forum has to be distinguished from a legal judicial forum.
Okay.
I don't think Mr. President will even play that song. Will be played at the National Association of the National Bar Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association.
Yeah.
Not to talk about a conference or workshop of judges. I will think that the president started on a very bad ground as far as I'm concerned, because by talking about sale of judgment and admonishing the judges publicly, I think he has publicly shamed the judiciary. And that's not the way to go about it. They may make comments about it, but then we are talking about the likelihood of people having the impression that there's a judicial surrender to the president.
That's how it came off.
Such overreach.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you cannot say that the people who are making comments about it are overreacting. They are not. Because the judiciary is a separate arm of government from the executive, and so also is the legislature. And the theory of separation of powers says that the president must approach the judicial chambers, the temple of justice, with every dint of dignity and sanctity. And to go there to admonish, to kick, to, I think it puts a lot of questions, even though his words, they echo the concerns about judicial failures, delays, but it requires some nuanced collaborative efforts of the constitutional institutions that are involved, and not the president standing right there in his address to tell the judges that they are selling judgments. Or so his words, suggest. I think that is taking it a little bit too far, and that's particularly for the presidents who have gotten a lot of indulgence from the judiciary. Even if you're talking about sale of judgments, you begin to question who really are the merchants, because the federal government has a lot of cases in court, and it should not be very proper to look at it as though the executive is influencing judicial outcomes by leveraging on public opinion and giving the judiciary the what do I call it now, the name that it doesn't deserve, so to speak. But then the campaign slogan itself is another thing altogether. And it's a very troubling conflation of political and judicial spheres. I think it's marks of bad faith for that song to have been played. Probably the president did not authorize it, but he must have, the handlers ought to have known that you don't play that kind of thing in a judicial setting.
Yeah, so that was my concern, because the NJI spokesperson who attempted to defend the judges claimed that it came solely from the Guards Brigade band, right?
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
So long as it is being played in that arena, it doesn't really matter to me. How it got to be played in that arena is something that should bother anybody. And that's where I raise my questions. That's where I raise my placard. Because it sends a message that judges are beholden to the executive and not the law. So a lot of us, we have cases against the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When we see cases like, music like that being played at judicial fora, it puts a lot of questions. We begin to ask ourselves the possibility or the possibility of getting a judicial relief against the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we see a lot of them happening. And that is also what is downplaying the level of public confidence in the judiciary. Because whether it is intentional or not, it creates a perception of bias, of undermining public trust in the judiciary's ability and capacity to check or curtail executive power. So where do we go from there? When in a judicial forum, which is likened to a judicial temple, it's like a court of law, the president is to give evidence or whatever you call it. Then the first thing that plays is political manifesto. Is brought to the entire court forum. It gives a very bad sense of executive power, and I think it should be curtailed.
Another perspective which this has obviously shown us is that this band obviously plays this at different events that the president appears, and in some cases they might not be political events. It's kind of like what happens when you're at a gathering that has people from different religions and you do a prayer in one religion, right? Some other people would feel, okay, while I may not have a problem with this religion, this feels exclusive. So if this could happen, and let's not kid ourselves, there were arrangements made for that event, right? There were logistics. It's a conference, so some things were put in place. Somebody was responsible for that band being there and playing at the time. As a matter of fact, because I sometimes I overanalyze, the band didn't even let the CGN finish calling out the president. They started playing while she was still introducing him. So obviously, there was a schedule. When she mounts the stage and calls the name of the president, he's going to get up at any second. You have to start playing before he leaves where he's seated to walk to the stage. The protocol was, if you see the video, she was still talking. Oh, well, she had introduced him.
The band came on almost immediately.
Almost immediately, yes. She was not even done.
But then...
So he was supposed to play till the president gets to the podium.
Yes. But then your position is plausible to the extent that I expected the Chief Justice of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to stand up to the occasion and tell the world that, look, this thing is played out of error. Mr. President, we don't tolerate things like that here. But she kept quiet.
Yeah.
I did not hear the judges participate in the chorus, or whatever you call it in musical parlance. They did not participate. But by playing and
but they stood.
They stood up.
It. So some even faulted them. Say, okay, you're standing while they are playing. On your Monday, we shall stand. Yes. So that's stand.
So if we have the whole judges of the Federal Republic of Nigeria standing on the mandate of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what else are you talking? So the erosion of trust is now deepened by that singular act. And it may lead citizens to lose faith in fair adjudication, especially in electoral disputes. We already have that. And now this has deepened it to the extent that I cannot say that the judges are taciturn, or they are so intimidated that one single person amongst them
couldn't object.
To say, no, this is not how it is done. Particularly for a president who is not a lawyer, may not understand the razzmatazz of judicial ceremonies and all that, and all the things that follow. But it has never happened in the annals of our judicial history. I think this is the first time.
Someone should have said something.
And something like that happened in South Africa under Jacob Zuma. And he was admonished immediately. And that's what I expected the Chief Justice of Nigeria to do. But they all kept quiet, which suggests that maybe they are complacent or maybe they like the music.
Okay, I didn't see it from that perspective. All right, we'd like to hear from you. How much trust do you currently have in the Nigerian judiciary? That's my question. Of course, I'd like to get your thoughts on this particular incident of playing the political song or music at a conference of judges. The numbers are called 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0003. WhatsApp is 080 903 06416. Please turn off your radio as you call. I'm going to play that again so that you mark the transition when they started playing and the idea that the CGN was not completely done with the introduction.
My lords, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to deliver his opening address and officially declare open the 2025 All Nigeria Judges Conference. I thank you all for your kind attention.
So is it, Chief?
She was still
talking. She was still talking, right? And they were like, yep, that's our cue. Immediately the president's name is mentioned. Start blowing the trumpet. Okay. So 0817-923-0002. This message reads, my chief Nago.
Agba, that's my kinsman.
Yes, the fact that this is in italics, I could tell it's not English.
He's greeting me in Igala language.
Okay. That's amazing. I wish to publicly apologize for not turning out for that Igala gathering and colloquium a few weeks ago. The excerpts of your paper on some social media platforms were quite phenomenal. Kudos. The issue is not whether judges sang or not. It's their actual physical demonstration that are standing on the mandate of the president. Exactly what we said.
Yeah.
By rising up at the tune of that political rendition, that brings their integrity to question. This, for me, is the beginning of the end of the judiciary. And that's from Dr. Ben. Thank you, Doctor. Ifeanyi calls from Choba. Good evening, Ifeanyi.
Okay, Oracle.
Good evening.
The chief in the studio have hinted what I wanted to say.
Ifeanyi, can you speak up, please?
Okay, I said the learned chief in the studio have hinted what I wanted to say earlier.
Okay.
To be honest, both the judiciary and the executive are complacent in this. And it's sad, over the last 2 years, Tinubu has shown us that he likes to be worshipped. I don't know, maybe the king type of. We have seen videos where maybe lawmakers go and they bow down and they kiss his hand. We've seen videos where even ministers or some people, it's not the normal prostration of maybe some tribe in Nigeria, but people go and kneel before the president. This is not the first time. The executive, judiciary, and the legislation should be different arms. At some point, if you can remember, when he went to present the budget or whatever, the legislature even played this same anthem in the hallowed chambers of the Joint Assembly of the Senate and the House of Reps.
Yeah.
And the president, people criticize it then. Again, the president, this is, as a matter of fact, let me not say it's not authority. The president sanctioned this. Let's just stop deceiving ourselves. He likes to hear it. He likes to see everybody bow and worship him. He likes it to be that we are at your mercy. Sadly, the judiciary of Nigeria had, for me, maybe on the scale of 1 to 10, maybe I had about 4% trust in it. But after 2023, I should be maybe 0.8. Not 0.8 out of 10.
Okay, fine.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
If I Have a little faith. Thank you very much. I was going to bring that up actually. This was also played at National Assembly.
National Assembly,
which is obviously wrong. Too many shades of wrong. Austin calls from Alu. Good evening, Austin.
Yeah, my brother, good evening.
Good evening.
My brother, I just laughed. I laughed with this my country I come from. I wonder why my mother and my father find me here. I will start by saying, I think the Akpabio being as new president, that bill they passed then, that this man signed, being my president, that the rights will come is no more. I think they should revisit that bill again and pass this one. And all of us should be singing on our man or your man. We should start. I think it's better.
Oh my!
Because I don't see the reason why we have 3 years of government. I understand very well on the executive side. The rest too are bowing that to him. You understand? I see no reason at all. If he is taking us to any promised land that I up to now I don't understand if truly we'll get there or not. That Nigeria is not stable again. I don't understand the problem. I'm out of that boat too. I won't tell you lie. As I'm like this now, I won't tell you lie, my brother. I have a cutlass beside me here. It's the only thing that I'm looking at for now to get is gun, which my money cannot buy me gun for now. But if I should see, I'll keep it also beside me. Because I can't wake up every day. Nigeria is bleeding, and I'm inside of it, and I'm not protected. I don't know the reason why. There's some set of people that we're supposed to be looking up to for our court officer to give us a good judgment. They will stand up, be shouting, "Oh, your man, they will stand." And they forget that this same man will be there for either 4 years or 8 years. You understand?
All right.
So either this 4 years or 8 years now, and then once he's gone, that person will come again. Is it another man that we'll be looking out for?
Okay, Austin, thank you very much. I have to move on now. Chima calls from Rumokuta. Hello, Chima. Good evening.
Mr. Oracle, good evening.
Good evening.
And I also please your guest. Mr. Oracle, me, I didn't see anything in that on your mandate which shall stand. And Mr. Oracle, we have 3 arms of government which the judiciary is exclusive in the aspect of politicking. Not that they don't have the right to vote. They can vote, but they are not openly belonging to any political party. Now, the issue is that if I have been known for something, like that this is a soundtrack or whatever, or nickname they name me, and you invite me on occasion, and the people that begin to cheer me on by what I have been known for, does that subjugate that environment to be that I am oppressing them? Now, the issue is that the president belongs to a political party. Does it mean that because he's going to a judicial occasion, he is not allowed to wear maybe a cap belonging to his party, like APC party cap written? He can't wear it again. The thing is that after election, whether we like it or not, there's a political platform at which a man is standing. So at this point in time, the law is not depriving from maybe exhibiting that, whatever case.
All right. Thank you, Chima. Moving on. Good day, Sam. Wonders they say shall never end. It's no longer news that our judiciary is bought, manipulated, and confined. Sam, in the gathering of Judicial Council, we're supposedly independent body. Why will a political song, our mandate shall stand, be played in such a unique council of judges? Does it mean our judges are now part of our mandate that we shall stand on? We are finished, dead, and buried. Pastor Sunday from Rumibo. No, we are not. Things are not as they should be, but it's work in progress. It's our job to fix it. Good afternoon, Sam. Politicians have their ways to express loyalty, to seek the attention of their superior or mentor. This song, On Your Mandate We Shall Stand, was composed and released by the FCT Minister, Chief Barrister Ian Wike, when he was hired as a minister. Since then, the record label had continued to hit the political landscape, now taken by the military as one of their anthems to welcome the president in his public outings. Sam, to my understanding, that song raised by the Army Band was never for the NBA conference, but to the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic. On second thoughts, such misrepresentations in song should not happen. Again, we have just 3 minutes left on the clock. A few messages on Facebook where we're live. Abdul Karim says judiciary should understand that their image to many Nigerians is not positive as of today. They should have managed a president band. Gift Stephen, still on Facebook, says, I don't have any trust again for the judiciary. And Pascal has some unsavory words here. Domka Demua says judicial neutrality is a problem in the country. A judgment is supposed to look at the law and evidence provided, not individuals that brought the case. Okay, 2 minutes left. We need to wrap this up within time. Chief Oguche, what does the judiciary need to do at this time to remedy this particular situation, not entirely redeem itself, but to correct this incident? Should they put out a statement? What should they do?
I think there should be a statement from the National Judicial Institute or the National Judicial Council stating the fact that this is not supposed to be, and maybe the conference was taken unawares, and they have to accept that it's something that is totally unacceptable. Somebody called, one of your callers said that he can wear his shirt and a political shirt or whatever to that kind of forum, that it's for the president. I say no, a judicial meeting, a judicial conference or workshop, it's a solemn grouping of judges and justices, people who have the power to determine life and death. They also have the power to remove him as the president. And it's not a place for him to display that type of whatever, no matter how beautiful his music sounds, no matter how beautiful it is produced. The fact is that judicial independence is not a privilege. It is a constitutional imperative that cannot be wished away. And the executive should define its boundaries. There are certain boundaries you cannot exceed. And I begin to think that probably the president is fully aware they were going to play it because of the response from the presidency on the issue. Because what the presidency is saying, that it was essentially meant to bring judicial, how do I put it, judicial integrity, to make sure that the judges, flow with the expectations of what the president wants them to be. That was the reaction of the presidency, which I think Professor Linus Wauzi of the Faculty of Law here has said that that's a very reckless statement on the part of the president.
Well, thank you, Chief Oguche. This is always a great time. Whenever we do this, I look forward to more hours added to the time we have. But as always, we are out of time. Thanks for making the time, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Have a beautiful day.
You too.
The news update comes up at 5. After that, we talk politics. Stay with us.